සිත්තවන මියුරුගී සරින් පිස නිවන ශතක අභිමානිසක් නාදය නාලන්දාසර නිරනාඹර පවන සිසාරාර උදෙන රජත වංශික පුතුන්ගේ දිරිය හඬ නාලන්දාසර.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nalandasara Sports Program. Today, I have joining with me in the studio three talented sportsmen representing the Nalanda College Rifle Shooting Association. So, gentlemen, before we start the program today, why don't you introduce ourselves to the audience?
Hi, I'm Nalandasara FM. I'm the former captain of the Nalanda College Shooting Sports Association, and I'm currently pursuing my A-levels in this school.
Hi, I'm Tejan Pilapitiya. I'm the upcoming captain of the Nalanda College Shooting Sports Association. I'm in the national youth team of pistol shooting, and I'm currently achieving O-levels in school.
Hi, I'm Dasindu Kodituakku, and I'm pursuing my studies in Nalanda College A-level section, and I'm the captain of Nalanda College Shooting Sports Association.
Right, so all three of you are very talented in the field of rifle shooting. And as you mentioned right now, you are all studying here in Nalanda College, so not out of school yet. So why don't you tell the audience how you balance education and rifle shooting while being so successful at it?
Yeah, so basically to balance something of this sort and this sort and our education, we have to be very disciplined. We have to stay very consistent with our training, and we have to make certain sacrifices to be able to do that. So I think that's the main key, is to sacrifice some stuff, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to keep our performance at this level. So yeah.
So basically you'd say you have to keep your priorities straight.
Yes,
for
exactly.
the sport. Yes. So let's talk about rifle shooting a bit, because it's a sport not many people are familiar with. So can you just give me a rundown on the training process all three of you go through?
Yeah, so basically what I do is, whenever we have a upcoming tournament, our coach informs us on what is to be done and what exercises that we have to do, our diet plan and everything. So basically, at least a month before our tournaments, we practice at our national shooting range. We practice there for about 3 to 4 weeks, and then we undergo certain training drills and stuff. So that's how basically we prepare. Tejan, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so rifle shooting is a mental sport. So the thing about this is it's mentally draining. For those 3 to 4 months, we're doing around 6 hours of training every single day. So in order to balance this with studies, we have to do these sacrifices where we are not going to certain classes, we are not going to other sports, but we are also doing what we need to do for our studies to achieve those 9 A's if it's for O-levels and 3 A's if it's for A-levels. And while competing at national level in the rifle shooting sport as a whole.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Dasan?
As a sport, we actually, as a team, we make plans for each of us individually, and we start and we plan it well. And as a team, we are more successful, like, because our coach lead us to our journey. So I think it's
A very different experience.
yeah.
So, rifle shooting is a sport that focuses on different aspects of physical and mental health compared to other sports. So, you mentioned exercises that your coach instructs you to do. So, let's talk about that for a bit. Like, when you're doing exercises and stuff, what parts of your body do you focus mainly in rifle shooting? And your minds, how do you like prepare your minds for tournaments and like improve your focus, which I believe you need in shooting?
So basically, in the physical side, you need a lot of core strength for shooting and a lot of strength in your lower body. So we do certain weight exercises for those as well, and a lot of body weight exercises as well. And we do a lot of meditation as well, meditation, yoga, to maintain our balance in our body, because balance is a very important component in shooting. So basically, those are stuff that we do, and we have a lot of training drills that we do with our equipment and without our equipment as well, mainly for balance, mainly for lower body strength, and for our mental strength as well.
Anything to add on mental exercises, Tejan?
Yes. So what he was talking about is rifle shooting. Now pistol shooting is a little bit different than rifle shooting because this pistol is a lot more smaller than a rifle, and you don't need this suit that you wear in rifle shooting. So in pistol shooting, you need a lot of core strength, just as in rifle shooting, but also a lot of delt strength, as in shoulders, arms, and forearms, because you need to hold the pistol in position, and it has to be precise every single time. And that's the physical aspects of exercises, and there are mental exercises as well, as like meditation. We both share that in common with rifle and pistol shooting. So that's the thing. Do you have anything to add, Dasindu?
Yeah, actually, as shooters, we have different plans for like for different people. There are different body structures, so we have to make plans and we have to uh, practice according to that. So that's the main point. So for different people, we need different plans.
Yeah, so it's a very specialized training regime.
Yeah.
So rifle shooting requires a very how do you put this? A demanding setup compared to other sports. Like you can't just pick it up and start on. You need a field and targets and stuff. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. So let's say you're out of the shooting range in school and you're in the at home, holidays and stuff. Are there any ways you can prepare for rifle shooting or just improve your skills without being in the shooting range itself?
I mean, obviously, shooting range is required because that's where you practice. That's where you do all your training drills. So basically, for in our category, one could even do it at home. Basically, you need the equipment to build a target, and obviously, you need your rifle or pistol if you were to do so. So those are the basic thing, and you have to have good lighting as well. So, I mean, in shooting, there is an initial cost. There is a pretty big, I would say, initial cost. But as you go along, the cost breaks down to only the ammunition and basically the ammunition.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the rifle shooting tournaments, shall we? About the structure of the tournaments for our audience at home. So rifle shooting and pistol shooting are a bit different in terms of tournament structures, I believe. So, Dasindu, can you give us a rundown on the rifle shooting tournament structures, like AR rifles, I believe?
Yeah, in the start, there's a equipment control session. In that, they check our weapons and all, and after that, we have a practice session, like 30 minutes. In that, you can practice with your weapons and you can feel the environment of the range and the audience, and after that, you have the match session.
So basically getting familiar with the environment before the tournament. And Tejan, you're the pistol shooting expert in the room. How would that work in a tournament?
So rifle shooting and pistol shooting shares the same range of 10 meters, and it's the same structure because you have the equipment control session where you check whether the specifications are correct for the gun, and then you go for the practice match to get familiar, and then you go for the actual match. But the thing about pistol shooting is that you don't get the extra support from the rifle shooting because there's no suit for rifle shooters, because rifle shooters have an extra suit, we don't. So it all depends on our muscles and our mentality to get a better score and to be competing at a national level.
Yeah. Okay, so in Sri Lanka, compared to other sports, rifle shooting isn't that popular among the student community. So what got you three into the sport initially? What made you want to pick up rifle shooting?
So for me, I mean, one of my friends told me that they were doing shooting, so I went as well to check it out. And I actually, from there on out, I fell in love with the sport. Actually started back in 2018, did until 2019, and 2020 and 2021 I couldn't do because of the COVID pandemic. But again, I started again in 2022. I was able to qualify for the national pool, and then on out, I was able to represent Sri Lanka in a couple of international matches, as well as represent my school in a couple of national matches as well.
Tejan?
So how I got into rifle shooting was they were taking in new athletes in grade 8. So I thought to myself, it'd be cool owning a gun. So now I actually own 2. But that's how I basically got into rifle shooting and kind of continued through the...
Yeah, very simple backstory.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Dasindu?
Actually, I love guns and those stuff. I search about those and I research about those, how those works, and so that's how I get into the sports.
So the interest of guns. Yeah. So wonderful. Okay. So for the viewers at home, the people who are willing to get into rifle shooting, let's just why what would you say that someone can like what are the life skills someone can acquire by picking up rifle shooting and doing it professionally like you guys?
So rifle shooting requires a lot of focus, right? So
Yeah.
whenever you do it, I think the that part of your brain improves a lot. So you'll be able to focus more basically on anything, even if it's studies, on sports, or any other activity that you're doing. So focus is one thing that you basically improve in this sport. Do you want to add anything to that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Like so for anyone student who's doing studies and stuff, rifle shooting will be important because they can improve in their focus and help on studies basically.
Exactly.
So rifle shooting also as you mentioned before is a financially challenging sport. So for anyone thinking of starting up on rifle shooting, how would you recommend the approach the sport?
So rifle shooting is as like comparatively to other sports, it has quite a large initial cost. But if you are able to like acquire sponsorship from people or from brands, that would be quite helpful. And if you can prove that you are a good rifle shooter, then you can obviously get a lot of help from the school, even our national, our association. So basically, if you are determined, basically as in any sport, if you are determined, you could go up, even though the expenses are, even though it's a very expensive sport. If you are determined, you can you can go to national, international levels.
So we have own shooting range here in Nalanda. So for any new students who are willing to participate in the sport, is there any type of support that the school lets them? Like, do you provide rifles and stuff,
Yes.
equipment? We do.
Yeah.
Okay. So a question going back to the tournaments for a brief moment. Can you explain how the scoring systems in rifle shooting tournaments work? Like, how do you score points? How are the winners chosen?
Oh, there we go.
So in rifle shooting, if you're shooting rifles, there's a point system as in there's a decimal system that we shoot. So the maximum of a shot that you can shoot is a 10.9. So we shoot 60 shots in a qualification round. Qualification round is basically where about 60 to 100 shooters shoot, and after that, if you are qualified among the top 8 shooters, you go into a session called the finals. So in the finals, you are able to in that session is where you determine the first, second, and third place. So normally to be able to get into that, you have to have really good qualification score, especially in international matches. So that's how it goes for rifle. In pistol, I think it's the same scenario, but
Yeah.
for the maximum shot that you can shoot in the pistol is a 10. There's no decimals in pistol shooting. So there's another category called shotgun. We don't do shotgun, but in shotgun the scoring system is vastly different. There are about 120 points that you can acquire. That's the maximum amount of points that you could acquire in that category. And those are mainly the basic 3 components of shooting. Basically, rifle, pistol, and shotgun. So that's how the scoring basically works.
Yeah. So what are your personal records? Like, what are the big achievements you've done in rifle shooting tournaments?
For me, basically, the first one was getting into the national pool in 2022, and then I was able to place first, second, and third places in numerous national and all island matches. The main highlight of my journey would be back in 2023 when I was able to win the third place in the mixed team event at the Asian Championships in Korea, Changwon. So I think that would be the main highlight of my journey.
So for me, I quite recently got into the national pool of Sri Lanka, and after that, I got like first, second places in a couple of matches as well, and then of course I became sharpshooter, gained national recognition as well, and then Dasindu, over to you.
Yeah, actually, in last open school shooting championship, I got first place in team event, and I also in the Nalanda College shooting team, and yeah.
Okay, so as you can see, quite fulfilling careers all these 3 sports people have in rifle shooting. We'll be back with more questions and some more time with these 3 sportsmen right after we move on to this quick break. Stay tuned.
කෙලිබිමෙන් විදුපිමට කෙලිබිමෙන් විදුබිමට
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nalandasara Sports Program. I'm your new interviewer, Dimitri Rodrigo. So, we stopped off a while ago on this interview. So, I have another question for you. How do you plan on actually increasing the popularity of this sport within the school and outside?
So basically, as a lot of shooters gain a lot of popularity through our achievements. So, through achievements. So the others we draw attention from others because of it. So a lot of people actually now this year also we have quite a lot of people into our association, into our range. So we have acquired a lot of young talent from it. So yeah, and do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so social media is a big part of it.
Yes, exactly.
But then, of course, the community is there as well because we are very supporting each other and we kind of drag in everybody who's interested in rifle shooting. Even though they don't seem to have any talents, we take it out because they're hidden talents.
And annually we plan workshops and competitions. So from that also we get our more shooters for our association.
Okay, makes sense. And then speaking of the youth, what does your training regime look like for those going into break barrel or PCP?
So normally if a new person comes into our range, we start them off with break barrel. So we let them shoot break barrel for a couple of weeks or even months if they have to get a feel of the sport and to get a feel of the weapon, to get a feel of the rules, the disciplines that is required to be in a range and to basically do the sport. So we let them do that for a couple of weeks or months, and then if they are interested, we let them move on to PCP. So PCP category is what we are shooting in, and that's the category that is shot in nationals and all the international matches. So to move into PCP, one has to acquire all the required knowledge that they had to gain from break barrel. Then only can they go into PCP.
Interesting. And you spoke of discipline within the range and within matches. Can you give us an example or a small list of what those disciplines might be?
Yeah, so we're handling with guns. So it's a very dangerous environment when we're handling with guns. So we can't point our gun more than 45 degrees off angle, which means we can only point the gun 45 degrees on either side of the range, and if it goes more than that, you are instantly disqualified from the match. So that's one. And of course we have discipline within the training environment as well, where we don't even make a noise when others are training. So we all have some experience on this because we do training around every week, not every week, about every day or so, right?
Often,
yeah. So we don't even make a noise, zero and utterly silent, because others are training. We're not selfish and we support our other team members as well.
Anything to add?
And as Tejan said, we recognize as discipline is more important than skills. So we are trying to take our skills from discipline. So
because this is like a very gentleman game, type game, and the discipline has to be there. Definitely.
So metaphor would be you are planting a tree and waiting for it to grow, that kind of thing?
Yeah,
no, we're actually watering the tree as well.
Yeah, somewhat.
Fair. After all, you had to give your experience to the young people as well. So I'm going to go a little bit technical now. How does a break barrel and PCP rifle actually work?
So it's a rich history here. So air guns is what we handle with. Air guns started back in the 16th century, 1580 to be precise, and they started in China along with gunpowder. So even though we don't use gunpowder, air guns is very unique because we handle it with a piston, and then air comes in, it gets compressed, and as we pull the trigger, air gets released and the pellet shoots out of the gun basically. So that's break barrel. And then you have PCP, which you call pre-charged pneumatic. Pneumatic stands for compressed air. Pre-charged means we have cylinders. You take the cylinder, and then you fill it up with oxygen or compressed air from those oxygen cylinders that a lot of divers use, and that's what we use to shoot.
That's basically what gives the pellet the power to
Yeah,
be
accuracy. and
shot
the
out of the rifle, basically, rifle or pistol, basically.
Right, and considering that rifle shooting is considered to be one of the most prestigious sports in possibly the entire world, even though it's so prestigious, pardon me, it's a gun, so there's bound to be safety issues,
Yes.
and as such, there have to be safety protocols. So, what kind of protocols are there to prevent a injury from a pellet?
So basically, one of the main factors are that, as Tejan mentioned, you cannot turn your rifle or pistol 45 degrees out of the target, because if you do that, that is a safety breach, and you can definitely get disqualified. And you cannot basically turn your rifle 90 degrees up or down, because that could also, like, if you accidentally trigger, you could hit a light or something, which could shatter and hurt someone else, or maybe the person in front of you. So you are not allowed to do that. And we also have this sort of tube, right, that we put
Yes.
inside the rifle. It's basically called a safety flag. It's like a small tube that you put inside the rifle to show the judge or any other person that your rifle does not have a pellet inside it. So those are mainly the safety protocols that we consider and we use.
And then,
Right.
of course, we inculcate certain qualities in our team players so that such injuries do not occur. Plus, we don't want to harm any animals or anything. So, if we find something like that done by any of our players, it's instant.
We
how to
take
say-
disciplinary actions,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Interesting. So, did our previous interviewer ask how the scoring
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
they did? Okay. So, what do you plan for the future of this association of yours?
So basically, for the future, I mean, I'm a former captain now. He's the upcoming captain. So basically, for the future, we just want to prioritize the sport and spread it around, and for more
Internationally.
young talent to get into
Yes.
our association, and hopefully we'll be able to have more national, all island, and eventually international level achievements.
And of course, we are looking for qualitative as well as quantitative growth in this sport. By that, I mean I want to take a couple of selected players to this international level where they can go on tours and get gold medals, bronze medals, and silver medals, etc. And of course, we have a certain amount of selected players for that. And since I'm specializing in pistol shooting, I have my own pistol shooting team, which I will slowly teach them
Inculcate.
on how we're doing pistol shooting. And then I have to develop another rifle shooting team, because as the upcoming captain of Nalanda College Shooting Sports Association, I have to make sure those are done and make sure that a new, younger and better generation of rifle shooters and pistol shooters are coming.
Right. So now that we need more youth in the sport, what is your membership retention like? How do you get new people in, and how long do they stay before deciding that I want to do rifle shooting or that this isn't cut out for me?
Well, that depends on a lot. So for me, I understood the principles of rifle shooting, basic rifle shooting, and then I could move on to PCP within like 6 months. I think it's the same for you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I think you were.
For me, it took more than a year. So I played break barrel for a year, and then I started PCB journey.
So it all depends on individuality and how long can you go on this journey. Are you dedicated, or are you smart, or are you just not interested in the sport? So if you're not interested, you can kind of discontinue.
Yeah.
And it's basically to retain oneself, you need to be interested, just as in any
Yeah.
sport. Because if you don't like it, you won't give your 100%. If you don't give your 100%, then there's no point of it. So basically, a lot of people just are automatically influenced by this, automatically interested by this because of the use of weapons in this. And when they see people like us who are already in the national pool achieve, quite a few things in the national all island level and even in international matches, they are automatically motivated to pursue a sport like this. So I think those are the main factors.
Good. So, We will continue this interview right after this quick musical break. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Nalandasara 92.2 FM, Colombo.
කෙලි බිමෙන් විදු බිමට කෙලි බිමෙන් විදු බිම
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nalandasara, the sports program. It is 6:20 p.m. in the evening, so let's try and wrap this up as fast as possible. So, Tasindu, since this is the 100th year of Nalanda College, what does it feel like to be the captain of the team in this year?
Actually, Dimitri, we have trained our team well, and we got a lot of help from our seniors too, and we are willing to face upcoming events with our full potential.
Okay. So I want to ask a captain from the asked a question from the past captain here. So, I believe there is a very large difference between the national and international level of competitions and tournaments. So, can you tell us what the experience is like in comparison to the Sri Lankan experience?
Yes. In comparison, there is a very big difference. So my first international tournament was back in 2023. That was the Junior World Championships, which I was selected to represent Sri Lanka in. So basically, I was quite surprised by the volume of people that were there, because there was a lot of people, and the people that were there were the best of the best from their country. So the junior event is obviously the under 21 event, which shooters who are under 21 and under 22 partook in, but they were basically the best in the world. So it was very, very competitive. And comparing it to the nationals that we have in Sri Lanka and all island matches, it's very, very different, because basically when you take the resources, when you take the equipment, when you take the basic ranges that they have, the lighting, everything, for the smallest of details, is very different. But Sri Lanka, when you take the resources that we have here in national matches and international matches, we do not have that much of ranges that they do, that much of facilities that they do, but we are capable of training to that extent. We are capable of training to that extent as athletes. So, I mean, competing there internationally was a different experience, and it's experience that I cherish a lot, because I was able to represent Sri Lanka, and that in itself is quite a big thing, I believe. And I was able to do it again in 2023, again in October. That was the Asian Championship. I shot in the youth event in that. Tournament, and it's quite a big tournament, because it was an Olympic qualifier for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. So in that there were shooters from the senior category to the junior category. So basically, I was able to get a hold of and to be in contact with a lot of shooters in the Asian region, and they were the best shooters in the world and even in the Asian region. So I was able to experience them. I was able to talk with them and basically get their knowledge and get their outlook of this sport and how I could improve with their techniques. So that was very valuable for me. And so basically, to any shooter who's up and coming, I would basically say to continue this sport and do well in nationally and in the all island level. So when you do that, there is a certain MQS that you have to achieve to qualify to get into the international matches, and you have to be in the national pool as well. So what I say to a lot of young athletes is, if you have a dream of competing internationally, you have to go through all that, and you have to be very consistent with your training when doing so. So yeah, those are basically the comparisons between what we have here nationally and internationally.
Okay. Now, something that's a little bit, again, more international. So I believe the 2028 Olympics are coming up, yes?
Yes.
So if Nalanda College is somehow going to go and compete at the Olympics, if you are going to, how are you planning to do so?
I mean, the Olympic Games is very big, Just going to the Olympic Games is a very honorable thing in itself, because to go into the Olympic Games, you have to be among the rare category of people. So to note, in shooting, they started going to the Olympic Games in Sri Lanka back in 1962, I believe. So from that point, Sri Lanka was able to compete in the Olympic Games in shooting until 2020 in Tokyo. I think only Sri Lanka missed about 2 or 3 Olympic Games that they weren't able to put a shooting team in. And another good experience that the Sri Lankan team has is in the Commonwealth Games in 1996. They were able to win 2 Commonwealth gold medals in the mixed team category. So I think that's a very big achievement, a very prestigious big achievement from our Sri Lankan team. So basically, talking about the Olympics, I mean, if any of us gets to go, it's a big thing. I mean, that's our main goal, and the main goal is basically to go there and win the Olympic gold medal that Sri Lanka doesn't have yet. So I believe in a sport like this, it's very possible for Sri Lankans.
Yeah, but since we're younger athletes, we have a bigger goal right now, which is quite kind of close to us because we have the Junior Olympics in 2026 in Dakar, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed,
So we are
indeed.
aiming to that. Him, me, of course him.
Yeah. So, this has been quite the interview. And to wrap it up, I want to ask one of you a motivational quote that you can give to not just athletes or not just athletes, to anyone in general, even me. What is something that any of you have to say as a motivational quote?
Well, motivational quote. I mean, just as a motivational statement, I would say is to just not give up. Just stay with it, stay in it, and just. I mean, you will come across difficulties, not in just in sport, but in life in general. And you should not give up. If you really believe in it, if you really believe in the goal, in the end result, you should not give up. You should stay with it and stay with your goal, and every day just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because obviously there'll be challenges on in your way, and the only way to like pass those and to break the barrier is to not give up and just keep looking forward. Just keep going in the path that you're going in, and just stay true to yourself, even in training, even in your studies, in basically in life. Just stay true to yourself and just go in the path.
That's of course one thing. And of course, since this is a mental sport, like intellectuals do this sport, since it's a sport like that, I have a quote that keeps ringing in my head every time I go to a match, every time preparationing to a match, which is, don't work hard, work smart. So rifle shooting, you have a small skeleton where you get the process. So you kind of inculcate the process within yourself. So even if you haven't done training for around 3 months or 4 months, you can still go to a match, get first place, and come home. So that's one very important thing, and that's important in life too. So daily situations, exams, and everything. That's why you can balance rifle shooting and studies really well.
Actually, winning is in your mind. If you have the mind you trust, you will able to win without a problem. And actually, for everything you need practice. Like we have to practice every day. Without practicing, we won't able to get anything. So we need that discipline. So have that discipline and keep it up.
And basically in any sport, not in this sport, anything in life, to be a champions were basically contenders. They started as contenders and they never gave up, and that's why they were big name. There are big names now like Usain Bolt, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. They were once contenders who refused to give up, and I think that's what you should do. You should stick with it, stick with your goals, and just stay on your path.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Those are some quite motivational words for anyone out there, not just an athlete, just anybody. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the wrap of the Nalandasara sports program. So, thank you all for listening in. Stay tuned for the next program. You are listening to 92.2 FM in Colombo, Nalandasara. Thank you.
කෙලි බිමෙන් විදු බිමට
දැවුණු සිත්තවන මියුරුගී සරින් පිස නිවන ශතක අභිමානි සක්නාදය නාලන්දාසර නිරනාඹර පවන සිසාරා රැවුතෙන රජත වංශික පුතුන්